Oh, buddy, that was one hell of a college football Saturday, wasn't it? Especially in the SEC. Great games all around. I feel like the SEC really carried the college football slate yesterday. And with that, it is time to grade every SEC team's Week 9 performance. You guys know the drill. If you don't like the grade that I give your team, that's too bad, and you need to play better. Let's get started. Let's start with the bye weeks. Florida and Georgia both had byes preparing for their matchup in Jacksonville next week. This could get interesting. Florida is going to have a play caller not named Billy Napier. It's going to get heated. These Florida players, they are desperate to finally get it done against Georgia, and they came close last year. And I'm really curious to see how this Georgia defense comes out after a bye, because they looked terrible against Ole Miss. Kirby's been mainly letting Schumann run the defense, but I wonder if that changed over the bye week. But we shall see. I'm pretty excited about this one. Don't be shocked if Florida pulls off the upset. Alabama avoids the upset against South Carolina. They find a way to win. They get a B+. You know the saying, winners win and losers lose. And Alabama is a program full of winners. It's the culture, it's the attitude, it's the locker room. Winners find a way to win, and Alabama did that. They took advantage of South Carolina's fourth quarter collapse, and Ty Simpson, in the fourth quarter, 9 for 11, 60 yards with a touchdown, and those two incompletions were drops. It was a great rally for Alabama, but not the best overall performance. It was not the best day for Alabama's offensive line. They struggled to find a rhythm running the ball, and you're not going to get away with mediocre to good offensive line play against these elite teams that Alabama's going to face in the playoffs. Alabama's got to find an identity running the ball, or else they're probably not going to win the national championship. Arkansas has committed the biggest sin that any college football team could possibly commit. They lost to Hugh Freeze. You had one job, Arkansas. One. All you had to do was beat us, and we would have fired Hugh Freeze today, but no, you suck. 4 fourth-quarter turnovers for Arkansas, 3 interceptions and a fumble. Taylor Green is an absolute trash can. After firing Sam Pittman, I guess Arkansas viewed the rest of the season as Bobby Petrino's tryout to be the next head coach. Yeah, I don't think Bobby Petrino's the answer. I mean, if you can't beat Hugh Freeze, I don't know what to tell you. And on defense, it was like until Auburn got inside the red zone or inside the 10, the defense was just lazy. The effort was not there. They got gashed on the ground by Auburn. Just a terrible day for Arkansas. They get a D-. All right, let's talk about my Auburn Tigers. In one of the stupidest games of football ever played, Auburn somehow found a way to win. A quarterback change was made. Jackson Arnold benched after throwing a pick 6 at the end of the first half. Ashton Daniels came in and played all right. He did enough to drive Auburn into field goal range 6 times. Alex McPherson, 6 for 6 on field goals. Awesome. The defense did their thing like they always do. They showed up and shut Arkansas down. There were just so many bonehead play calls and bonehead moments from Hugh Freeze in this game. But nonetheless, Auburn somehow finds a way to win a football game, and Hugh Freeze keeps his job for another week. They get a C+. Kentucky, wow, just completely torched and annihilated by this Tennessee offense. They get a D for that alone. I thought Kentucky could have made this game competitive given how good their defense played against Texas last week, but I was wrong. Right now, it is 12:49 p.m. Central Time. Mark Stoops has not been fired yet, but I would not be shocked if it happens in a few hours. Whenever these Kentucky Mark Stoops defenses play high-flying, fast-paced offenses like Tennessee, they're freaking helpless. I mean, how do you score 34 points and lose by 3 possessions? Just embarrassing. Good Lord, LSU, that was horrific. Back-to-back seasons, Brian Kelly lets a team come into Death Valley under the lights and absolutely punk LSU. I gotta say, man, if Joe Sloan, LSU's offensive coordinator, is not fired, they just don't care about winning. This offensive scheme hasn't worked all year. Nuss has been a disaster. And when you combine that with the defense having an off night, this is the result that you get. It's tough for me to talk down on this LSU defense because for the most part, they've had a pretty solid year and they've had to deal with Nuss in the offense. But in the second half, they just threw their hands up and freaking quit. And whose fault is all of this ultimately? Brian Kelly. Under no circumstance should LSU get blown out and embarrassed under the lights in Death Valley. Should never happen. It has now happened twice under Brian Kelly, and I think he needs to be fired. What a big-time win for Ole Miss. They go into Norman and get the win. They get an A-. With all the noise, with all the distractions of is Lane Kiffin going to leave? Is he going to stay at Ole Miss? They stay focused and get a huge road-ranked win. And it did not come easy. After Ole Miss got off to a really hot start, Oklahoma fought back and actually took the lead. But they found a way to win. They scored down the stretch, and they shut down Mateer when it mattered. And how about Chambliss? A really solid day against this good Oklahoma defense. 315 yards through the air, 53 on the ground. This very well could have been a playoff eliminator. With both of these teams having one loss, the loser of this game would have to win out the rest of the season. And I don't know if Oklahoma's going to do that. You guys remember what I said during the Alabama segment when I said winners win and losers lose? Well, Jeff Levy and Mississippi State, losers, 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 losers. Jeff Levy is yet to win an SEC game. How are you up 38-21 in the fourth quarter and you lose? You know, and it's really sad to see this because Mississippi State is not a bad team. They did a great job in the offseason acquiring a lot more talent, but they are just not winning games. I got to make this comparison just because I'm an Auburn fan. I see so much of Auburn in Mississippi State. As soon as things get tough and as soon as things get tight, both sides of the ball just collapse. Mississippi State doesn't have a talent problem. They don't have a scheme problem. They have a culture problem, and they have a loser problem. Missouri, man, what a heartbreaking day. Despite the tough loss, they're going to get a C+. Biggest takeaway from this game, Bo Prabula goes down with what looks like a broken leg. Just terrible. Just absolutely terrible. He's had such a sick comeback story too, man. Being the backup at Penn State and coming into Mizzou and having a solid season. Just hate it for him, man. But a tough loss overall for Mizzou. Neither team could really get it going offensively. Defensively, Mizzou played lights out, held Pavia to under 20. But on the last play of the game, down by 7, Mizzou completes a Hail Mary, and it's 1 yard short. That's got to be one of the worst ways to lose a game. Losing your starting quarterback and then coming 1 yard short from tying the game, potentially going for 2 to try and win it. I am so sorry, Mizzou. Oklahoma falls at home to Ole Miss in a must-win game. They get a C-. Not a great outing for John Mateer, man. His accuracy was inconsistent. He missed wide-open guys down the stretch. He left clean pockets too early, not allowing plays to progress. He's just got to be better. And I got to say, I have no idea what Oklahoma's identity on offense is. Feels like they barely utilize their running backs because most of the run plays are with Mateer. And I swear, watching him is like watching backyard football. I just feel like this whole hero ball with Mateer game plan that Arbuckle goes for, it's not getting it done, and something's got to change. My goodness gracious, Gamecocks, that was one of the worst collapses I've ever seen. The bottom line is very simple. Alabama made plays down the stretch, and South Carolina did not. But here's a problem I do have. When South Carolina scored their last touchdown to go up 21-14, they kicked the extra point to make it 22-14, a one-possession game, instead of going for 2 and pretty much icing the game. Have some balls, Beamer! You should have known damn well that DeBoer and Grubb are going to go deep into the playbook to make sure they score on that last possession, and you could have iced the game and you didn't. But hey, winners win and losers lose. It is truly a damn shame. My goodness gracious, the fireworks did not stop firing in Lexington. Solid outing for the Vols. They get a B. Joey Aguilar, 396 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns. He could not be stopped. Josh Heupel's offense is so satisfying to watch. Tennessee with 3 different receivers with over 100 yards receiving. Chris Brazzell, Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley, all over 100 yards. My goodness. Not a great day for the Tennessee defense, though. They let Cutter Boley piece him up for 330 yards. Not good. That's why they're getting out of here with a B. All right, next up we got Texas. Big time comeback win on the road. The Longhorns get a B-. The trend of today's video continues. Winners win and losers lose. In Texas, they made plays to win this game. Over the years inside the Longhorns locker room, Sark has instilled such a great winning culture. And when you have a winning culture, you got dogs on your team who know how to make plays to win games, like Ryan Niblett taking a punt return to the house to tie this game up. I'm going to be honest, as soon as this happened, I knew Texas was going to win this game. I knew Mississippi State was not going to score when they got the ball back, and I knew Texas was going to find a way to win in overtime. And guess what? That is exactly what happened. Very resilient win from this Texas team. Props to them. They get a B-. Texas A&M, wow. They go into Tiger Stadium at night and run LSU out of their own building, and for that, they get an A+. Explosive plays, winning the line of scrimmage, punishing Nuss. Texas A&M bullied LSU, and they did not fight back. Marcel Reed, 4 total touchdowns. Casey Concepcion, look at this punt return, man. Just running all over LSU. And this A&M front 7, they were baptizing Nuss all night. 7 total sacks. I think that $76 million buyout to get Jimbo out of town was worth it, because Mike Elko is building something serious. Lastly, College Game Day comes to Nashville, and Vanderbilt gets the win over number 15 Mizzou. They get a B+. The momentum for Vanderbilt continues. This was an absolute must win. Another gutsy win for Vanderbilt, man. Back to the winners win theme of the video. Winners win. Vanderbilt is a bunch of winners. They keep on winning. That's not a shot at Mizzou, by the way. They literally came a yard from winning this game. They're a bunch of winners, too. This was really impressive from Vandy's defense. Mizzou controlled the clock the entire game. They had the ball for 36 minutes, and Vandy held them to 10 points. Good stuff. Looking at Vandy's remaining schedule, outside of Tennessee, I would say they're probably better than the rest of the teams they play. Their path to the playoff is certainly there. But that's going to do it for this one. Week 9 SEC grades. Great day of football. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.